Good good morning, listeners, uh, Dominicans, public officers, members of the listening public. Today we have with us the banking sector, and we will be examining banking. Let me apologize for the absence of the Honorable Prime Minister, who has been caught up in a number of urgent matters and has asked me to be with you this morning to chair this session with banking. We have with us three financial institutions, First Caribbean, Scotiabank, and the NCCU, and we'll be calling on them to give you updated information on their services and the status of their operations 10, 11 days after the passage of Hurricane Maria. Let me, at this stage, offer my own condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones, to the families of public officers, and to wish everyone well during this period, and to ask for the cooperation and the hard work of all those who have been able to assist, and to call on those who have not been able to assist. I would also at this stage like to remind the public officers who are listening that they're required to be at work, and I'm hoping that on Monday everyone would have been here to report. In my earlier announcements, I reminded those who are in cut-off areas that they should ensure that they make a contribution and volunteer with the distribution network. I'm hoping by next week that they too will be registered. My name is Steve Farrell, Secretary to the Cabinet, and I'll be with you for the next few minutes. In the area of banking, obviously there are a number of concerns. I think people will be concerned with their general financial operations. And we have obviously the issues with a number of persons who have mortgages with the banks. Earlier this week we spoke with insurance companies and they tried to explain the processes. However, we know that there are a number of us who have mortgages, and conditions for insurance are tied into those mortgages with those financial institutions, and it'd be interesting to hear how these matters are dealt with. We have other concerns with investments and financial transactions, and I'm hoping that we can get good responses and updated information from the three institutions that we have with us this morning. We will fast track the process, and I would like to call in first the First Caribbean Bank, followed by Scotiabank, and then we'll have NCCU. I'll leave it to the leaders of this institution to introduce themselves and to tell you all about their updated information. I would now like to call to the podium First Caribbean to address us.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. I'll start by talking about the general operations and our overall relief effort in the wake of Hurricane Maria. For CIBC First Caribbean, after any crisis, the priorities for us are really to ensure the safety of our staff. So contact all of our people and ensure that they are safe, they have not suffered any injury or do things to ensure that they are well on their way to rehabilitation and support them in that regard. The second priority is really to ensure that we can create a safe environment to operate in, and having done that, to resume operations and provide service to our customers. I'm pleased to say that we were able to do so as of Thursday past. So we've operated on limited hours between 10 and 1 for the last 2 days, and that modus operandi will continue until we are able to get other things in place to extend our hours and so on. Roughly 10 days after the storm, we opened our doors to the public, and I think that is something for us to celebrate. It's really indicative of our commitment to our customers and our willingness and desire to serve in the wake of the storm. We're a multinational organization, so as many of you may already know, our operations in a number of territories have been affected by hurricanes over the last couple of months. We had Irma affecting the Northern Islands in BVI, Anguilla, St. Martin and TCI, and now Maria in Dominica. Immediately after the passage of Irma, CIBC First Caribbean and its parent company CIBC actually committed US $450,000 for relief efforts across the islands affected by Irma. And now, with Maria affecting Dominica, CIBC First Caribbean, through its charitable foundation, has committed a further $100,000 US for the assistance of Dominica. Now, the use of that money is not entirely defined as of this moment, but what we have done so far is agreed to sponsor a relief flight into Dominica. That flight will bring in supplies. We're partnering with LIAT in that regard for general relief on the island. And we'll also use the opportunity to evacuate about 65 persons from Dominica. I think most people are familiar with the fact that we have children who need to get out and probably get into schools in other islands. We have people that may be sick and cannot withstand the conditions locally and actually need to be evacuated. So that flight will serve two purposes: one, to bring in relief supplies, and two, to actually evacuate the persons that are not able to remain locally under the conditions. In terms of our opening up, we've had a lot of support. Security, of course, is one major issue, and the police department and soldiers on the ground have been very supportive in that regard. But the preparation, as my colleagues will surely tell you, is quite a task. So we had about 6 inches of mud in the bank. I couldn't even measure what was outside on the sidewalks and so on. But with the assistance of the police, like I said, and the likes of the fire department, we were able to get the area clean enough so that we could serve customers. And it came to our attention that the fire department had a unique challenge. So one of their trucks has no pump, and they're relying on a single truck to pump water out of their water source, to distribute water to the government services and around the city, and to help the likes of us, as they helped us power wash our area in preparation for opening. So I'm pleased to announce today that we're utilizing some of these funds to purchase a pump that we will hand over to the fire department so they can use on their second truck to continue to supply water to the government services and to the general public. That presentation will be made later today. Actually, as we speak, one of my colleagues is at the port clearing that pump so we can deliver to the fire chief, and I'll be part of that presentation as well. My colleagues in Barbados are supporting. They're in discussions with medical professionals over there, talking about how we can help rehabilitate the healthcare sector. I think in a number of instances, the Prime Minister would have communicated to the public the type of destruction that was experienced at the hospital, the state of the hospital at the moment, the need for volunteers to assist with healthcare service, not just at the main hospital but in the primary districts. So we're in conversations, and we're hoping to tap those resources to assist in that regard. The bank, of course, would have assisted its employees on the ground, and what we've seen also is our colleagues across the region have gotten together and did their own relief efforts, putting together packages and so on to send down to our colleagues in Dominica and to distribute to the wider community. So those are some of the things that we're doing on a macro level. I know our customers, as Mr. The Cabinet Secretary would have pointed out, would be interested in terms of their loans, their existing loans and mortgages, and how we will handle that. So I'll speak more about that now. If you are an existing loan customer of CIBC First Caribbean, what we've put in place is the option, and I say option because you do need to get in contact with the bank and indicate to us that you're interested in this offer. You have the option to defer your loan payments for 3 months. So it's a 3-month moratorium on payments. What will happen over that period is that the interest calculated will be capitalized as added to the balance of the loan, and you will have no payment obligation during that period. We will also take the option of extending your loan term by 3 months, and the effect that will have is keeping your loan payment, your monthly loan payment, about level when you actually resume in 3 months' time. So that is to give people a chance to divert funds to other efforts. You may want to do some home repair, you may need to purchase some food items, water, whatever the case may be, and you can use those funds from your normal loan payments to actually assist in that regard. We do also have an emergency facility of up to $35,000 that persons can tap into to effect home repairs, do a rehabilitation project, or anything of that sort. If you're an existing customer, say you're a mortgage customer who had some damage to your home, we're not asking you to go out and do any new valuations. The simple understanding is that your existing mortgage will continue to hold as collateral of the bank. We will extend those funds to you, and hopefully when your insurance company settles, we can use those funds to actually close the gap and reduce that amount that you borrowed and get you back into a state similar to where you were prior to the effect of the storm. What we want to encourage everybody to do is get in contact with the bank directly, because people will have peculiar situations that are not necessarily covered in the provisions that we've made, but we want to be able to have a conversation with you about how we can help. So please reach out to your loan officer, schedule a time to come in. We'll be open on Monday from 10 a.m. We'll close at 1. We're open to extend those hours pretty soon. And so we want you to make that call, make an appointment, come in and speak to your loan officer. For the people who don't necessarily remember, we have 4 lenders on our team. Elsa Proctor, her telephone number is 255-7916. We have Athenia Abraham Ferrara, her telephone number is 255-7904. We have Linda Honoré, her telephone number is 255-7908. And Carla Daniel Christmas, whose telephone number is 255-7929. My name is Stephen Landa, I'm the country head of the bank. My telephone number is 255-7901. So please, if you have questions, if you want to schedule an appointment, please reach out to any one of us. Let us know and we'll set up something for you so you can come in, speak about your particular situation, and we should be in a position to work something out that is mutually beneficial to yourself and the bank. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this was Mr. Stephen Lander from the First Caribbean. We want to thank him for the relief efforts of the bank, so that in addition to offering you resumed banking services, the bank itself is involved with a relief. And it's significant to note that the fire department will be receiving a pump. We had issues with pumping all through government headquarters for the last 10 days. Using the same pump, having to wait for the evening time. So I think that will help very much in alleviating the demands on the fire service. We still have some pumping to do in this building, by the way, in the ground floor, in the parking area, where we still have silt and water blocking about 7 or 8 vehicles downstairs, and to get access to the pumps for water in this building. So we thank you. I hope you members of the public have noted the numbers and contact information given by the bank and take note of the services. I guess the presentation will be repeated so that you will get an idea of the services that are offered. And for those who have mortgages, please remember to contact your respective loan officers. At this time, I would like to call to the podium the representative of the Scotiabank.
Very pleasant morning to all. Thank you for having us here that we can share with the public what's happening. As the country manager for Scotiabank, first of all, we want to extend our condolences to those persons who have lost loved ones during the passing of the hurricane. We know it's a traumatic experience. We've all experienced it, and recovery is going to be slow, but it will happen. We need to continue to work together as one people with one goal in mind so that we can get things up and running as quickly as possible. For us at Scotiabank, our first priority was to finding our staff. And it took a challenge because some of the areas were cut off. But I'm happy to say that we located all of our staff. They're all okay. Had damages like everybody else, but we are working with them to make sure that their lives become livable as soon as possible. So we're working with our staff. Our second priority was our customers, trying to see how quickly we can get up and operating. Now for us it was a challenge because the river came over to the bank. We had mud, a pile high into the branch. It damaged our generator, which set us back. Took a whole lot of mud out of the generator and water. But I'm pleased to say that the generator now, we have it operating. We opened yesterday to the public from 1 to 3, and we will be operating as of Monday from 10 to 1 like FCIBC. Testing is going on in the branch as we speak. Our systems were up and running. The last test is being done on the ATM, so by this afternoon we will know for sure what's happening with the ATM. We too, like FCIBC, have a customer assistance program. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody's needs are different. So we too are asking you who have mortgages and loan payments and credit cards and whatever to please come in, see us, see your officer, so we can sit down and we can explain the program and see how best it suits you. We want to make sure that everybody have the opportunity to sit down and have a discussion because that's important, especially people who have mortgages. Those of you who have insurances with Scotiabank, we want you to know that it's important that you take photographs of your place, the damages, and we need you to bring those photographs with you to the branch. There's a form, a claim form that we need you to fill out and complete, so please come in as quickly as possible. Adjusters will be on the ground as soon as there's place for them to reside, and they will be processing those as quickly as possible. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of taking photographs before you clean up everything so that they can see the condition of your home. It's very important, so please do that as quickly as possible. And again, you can contact your loan officers. Our loan officers are Joanna Landert, Dana Augustine, and Amarel Martin. Okay, and the numbers for those are Joanna is 255-1335, Dana is 255-1320, and Amarel is 255-1341. So again, and if it's anything, you could contact Greg Baduel, who is in charge of the loans department, on 255-1350, or you can contact me, the country manager, on 255-1322. We're all willing and able to assist you. Our bank announced prior to Maria hitting Dominica that there was an assistance program, a hurricane relief recovery program for the Caribbean of $500,000 US that is going to be spread among the countries. Cannot say exactly how much is going to be to Dominica's Red Cross, but they'll get back to us and let us know. But it's a program across all of the islands that has been hit, $500,000 US. So again, we'll be operating on Monday from 10 to 1 until everything else stabilizes. We want to thank the police force. We want to thank the fire department, particularly because they were able to help us get the mud out yesterday out of the branch. We don't have a pump to donate, but we thank FCIBC for helping them in advance. And we really appreciate the security that you've provided to us and will continue to provide to us. We look forward to working with the people of Dominica in helping them to get back their lives to some state of normalcy as soon as possible. And we're here to stand with you in whatever it is that you need. We will be able to assist as best as we can. So just reach out to us. If you cannot get to us, get a word to us. We'll try and see how best we can get to you. But try and get to us as soon as possible so that we can help you get back to normal. We thank you.
Thank you very much. We've just heard from Paula Hatz, country manager of Scotiabank. And of course, Scotiabank too will be open from Monday, 10 to 1. And I'm hoping that you took the telephone numbers and the contact information issued by the bank. I wish you to also take the opportunity to thank Scotiabank for its own relief efforts on behalf of government, and to say that we look forward to working with you during this recovery phase. At this point, I would also want to note that the efforts to reach the National Bank, Aid Bank, two of our other key institutions, did not pay off, so we will be trying our best to ensure that information from those institutions can reach the general public as soon as possible. But in the meantime, we would like you to take note of the general information provided, particularly for those dealing with Scotiabank, to remember to take photographs when coming to see your loans officers. Extremely important, and I hope we are all taking note. We will now hear from the third and final financial institution, which is the NCCU, and I will call the rep from the NCCU to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Farrell, Cabinet Secretary. Good morning to my other colleagues, and a pleasant good morning to the listening public. I am Ilmer Irish, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Cooperative Credit Union. On behalf of my Board of Directors, I wish to express the grief felt by all Dominicans, and to hope that we will recover very, very soon. Following the passage of the hurricane, we made every effort to contact our staff, who are our internal customers, because they are the ones who ensure that members are served. To date, we can confirm that they are all okay. A number of them have suffered as a result, but health-wise, everyone is doing well. We wish all our members well, and I want to assure you that NCCU remains safe and sound. We have several branches, 7 in total. They have all been impacted, or the physical plants have all been impacted in one way or another. We have commenced the cleanup process. We had hoped to begin operations at our head office a few days ago, but as a result of the lack of fuel, we were unable to run our generators. But I'm pleased to announce that with the assistance of Rubis, yesterday evening at about 5:30, our generator was refueled. Immediately, it began working, and our IT persons are on the ground working. Our air-conditioned units on the main building head office were totally smashed. And as we speak, we are installing air-conditioned units within the IT department to ensure that the brain remains cool. Once we are able to do that, we are hoping that towards the end of today, tomorrow, our ATMs will be operational, and our cards will also be operational, allowing our members to the point of service in any part of the world. We will commence, as my other colleague has announced, at operations at 10 a.m. on Monday morning. I will provide further details via radio to all our members. We are continuing the effort to ensure that we reach all our members. As you know, in the past, NCCU has had a history of providing not only deferments to our members, but waiver of interest. Early next week, my board will meet to take a position on that. But you, members, be rest assured, you are the owners of the institution, and any decision made by the institution will be in your best interest. Our telephones are not yet operational, so we will actively use the media houses. As it relates to insurance claims, we are again advising our members to visit the various insurance companies to obtain the forms. You should not be bothered at this point about claim and claim settlement. First and foremost, you need to complete the forms. And I have been advised by our insurance companies that the forms are available. Again, I would just like to reiterate, the credit union, NCCU, remains safe and sound, and we will be available to answer all your questions commencing Monday morning. We will, at that time, advise you in terms of the limits in terms of cash that we will be able to disburse at any one point in time. But certainly, we will be open on Monday morning to serve you. Thank you, and I will be happy to accept any questions that our members would have. I can be reached at 275-2549. We will be concentrating on mainly at the Rosa branch, because all the other branches have been severely impacted and the process of cleaning up continues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Irish. Credit union also opens at 10 a.m. We should await more details. I note Mr. Irish did not give a closing time. So that may be extended or shorter, but we'll hear from him. I think the key here is to listen, members of the NCCU, for further information from your Chief Executive Officer later in the day, I guess. The services should be back on, as you've heard, and as it seems, based on the contributions of all three institutions, banking should be back to normal on Monday from 10 o'clock. That's the general announcement here. 10 to 1. The National Bank is not with us. The Aid Bank is not with us. So what I would say is, if the times are different, they would probably have to contact, and Royal Bank, sorry. If the times are different, they probably should try to get in touch with us so we can make corrections. But for now, the three institutions we have with us are all confirming that banking resumes at 10 a.m. So for all of those public officers and other persons, well, it's month end, so I guess a number of us are waiting to see how salaries will be processed. It will be 10 o'clock Monday. And I take it that the NCCU will be announcing if their ATMs would be operational even before that, sometime today. And of course, there will be limits, maybe revised limits on the amount that can be withdrawn. I want to take this opportunity again to thank all those who have made contributions. And as Cabinet Secretary and Head of the Public Service, I want to again appeal to public officers. 10 days have gone. We're now back to normal working hours, and I would expect every public officer to report to work on Monday. To thank those who are in fact working today and tomorrow, volunteering in the distribution process. I would hope that everyone can register with the Permanent Secretary on Monday morning, and those who are in our district assisting in distribution should also make an effort to register their presence with the senior public officer assigned or available in those districts. We'll be needing all the help that we can get to restore things to normalcy. In the case of institutions, I think the very workplace itself has to be cleaned up, and equipment, whether banking or in government, has to be restored, some replaced, some repaired, some condemned. So staff have to understand that we are back to normal. The country needs the services of everyone. In the case of public officers, we may have to reassign persons in areas where the offices were badly compromised. But we need everybody to understand that the country needs workforce and that everybody should be back at work on Monday. I guess I noticed that a number of agencies are making independent announcements, so you will obviously hear from them. So I think for banking, government, let's try to make Monday our first normal day. Oh, I was just advised that the Scotiabank ATMs and the First Caribbean are already up. So you can, are the limits the same? So you can now access the ATM from the First Caribbean, the Scotiabank, and later you'll find out the times for the NCCU in Roseau, of course. I guess efforts will be made to try to extend the service to outside of the city as soon as possible. Let me, on behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister, thank you for being here today. Thank Mr. Irish from the NCCU, Mr. Lander from the First Caribbean, and Ms. Hart from the Scotiabank for sharing with us today at this briefing on banking. I hope that the general public will listen in, because banking obviously is a central part of our commercial and life and social activities, and that you take note. Obviously, this proceeding will be replayed so that you can get a chance to get the basic information. And as I said, I'm hoping that the institutions that are not with us today is Royal Bank, National Bank, Aid Bank, will make every effort to put notices of a similar nature on the airwaves and media so that you can be briefed. Let me again thank you on behalf of the Prime Minister, on my own behalf, and appeal to all of us to make every effort to resume work as soon as possible, and to again remind you that Monday seemed to be a normal day of work, and would expect everyone to make every effort to head to their institutions so that we can start seriously the rebuilding process. Distribution remains an issue, and we are still expecting a number of volunteers. We'll need them at the main distribution points. We'll also need them at the community distribution points. The more I examine the plans before us, is the more I realize that the networking of distribution requires a number of hands to get to people at every part of the country, and I'm appealing to everyone to make a contribution, and again, in keeping with the Prime Minister, that we keep things in a peaceful and orderly manner. I thank you all for being here with us this morning, and obviously we have to move again to continue working towards the recovery of our beloved country. Thank you.